In the chilling winter of 2004, Maura Murray, a 21-year-old nursing student, vanished without a trace after a baffling car crash in rural New Hampshire. What was meant to be a brief escape turned into a haunting mystery that has captivated the nation for nearly 2 decades. On February 9th, 2004, Maura unexpectedly emailed her professors and employer, stating a family emergency, a fabrication as it turned out, and left the University of Massachusetts Amherst. Packing her car with belongings and withdrawing most of her bank account, she drove into the white, wintry landscape of New Hampshire. At approximately 7:30 p.m., her vehicle was reported to have crashed along Route 112 in Haverhill, NH. A local bus driver discovered Maura at the scene, appearing unharmed but shaken. She implored him not to call the police, asserting she'd already summoned AAA, a claim later found to be untrue. Yet, by the time law enforcement arrived at the scene, a mere minutes later, Maura was gone, leaving behind a locked car and a swiftly growing puzzle. The immediate search yielded few clues and no sign of Maura. Her disappearance sparked widespread speculation. Did she plan to start anew, or had she met with foul play? Perhaps most disturbingly, did she wander into the forest, succumbing to the harsh elements? As years passed, sightings and theories abounded, yet provided little solace to her distraught family. Maura. Murray's disappearance remains one of the most perplexing cold cases in American history. Each new lead or theory seems only to deepen the mystery, leaving more questions than answers. This story not only challenges our understanding of fate, but also leaves a lingering echo of mystery in the snowy paths of New Hampshire. Imagine the terror of hearing your loved one's last words over the phone, only for them to vanish without a trace. This is the haunting story of Brandon Swanson, whose mysterious disappearance has left his family and investigators scratching their heads for years. Brandon Swanson was a typical 19-year-old living in Marshall, Minnesota. On the night of May 13, 2008, he was celebrating the end of the school year with friends. As the night grew late, Brandon decided to head home. He got into his car and started driving, but he never made it home. Around 2 a.m., Brandon's car veered off the road and got stuck in a ditch. Stranded and frustrated, he called his parents for help. "I'm fine. I'm not hurt," he reassured them, "but I need you to come pick me up." He described his location, thinking he was near Lind, a small town not far from home. His parents, Brian and Annette, immediately set out to find him. They drove to the area Brandon described, but he was nowhere to be found. They kept talking to him on the phone, trying to pinpoint his location. Frustrated, Brandon decided to walk towards the lights of Lind, thinking it would be easier for his parents to find him there. As Brandon walked, he kept his parents on the phone. It was a dark, moonless night, and he described the fences and gravel roads he was passing. "I'm heading towards town," he said. His parents followed his directions, but something wasn't right. They still couldn't find him. Suddenly, Brandon shouted, "Oh, shit!" The line went dead. His parents frantically tried calling him back, but there was no answer. Panic set in. They drove around the area searching for any sign of their son, but he had vanished. The next day, a massive search was launched. Volunteers, police, and search dogs combed the area where Brandon's car was found. They scoured the fields, ditches, and nearby riverbanks, but there was no trace of Brandon. It was as if he had disappeared into thin air. Weeks turned into months, and still, no clues emerged. The only piece of evidence was Brandon's abandoned car, stuck in a ditch far from where he thought he was. How did he end up so far off course? And what happened after his last words on the phone? Theories began to circulate. Some speculated that Brandon had accidentally fallen into the Yellow Medicine River, which was swollen from recent rains. Others believed he might have encountered foul play. Despite extensive searches, the river yielded no clues, and no evidence of a struggle was found. Years have passed since that fateful night, and Brandon's disappearance remains a haunting mystery. His parents continue to search for answers, holding on to hope that one day they will find out what happened to their son. On the night of March 19, 2004, Brianna Maitland finished her shift at the Black Lantern Inn in Montgomery, Vermont. She had just celebrated passing her GED exam earlier that day and seemed poised for a bright future. However, what should have been a routine drive home turned into one of Vermont's most perplexing mysteries. Brianna left work around 11:20 p.m., declining an invitation from her co-workers to join them for dinner. She was tired and had to work at her second job the next morning. Witnesses last saw her getting into her 1985 Oldsmobile and driving off alone into the dark night. The following day, Brianna's car was discovered in a peculiar and ominous position. It was backed into an abandoned building known as the Dutchburn Farmhouse, about a mile from her workplace. The rear of the car had crashed into the side of the building, and the scene around the vehicle was unsettling. Loose change, a water bottle, and an unlit cigarette were scattered on the ground. Inside the car, police found 2 of Brianna's uncashed paychecks and various personal belongings. The eerie tableau suggested something had gone terribly wrong. Initially, the state trooper who discovered the car assumed it had been abandoned by a drunk driver and had it towed to an impound lot. He saw no immediate cause for alarm. However, the more the details emerged, the stranger the situation seemed. Brianna's friends and family became increasingly worried when they couldn't reach her, and it wasn't until several days later that a missing person report was filed. The investigation into Brianna's disappearance revealed a series of unsettling clues and potential leads. Earlier on the day she vanished, Brianna had lunch with her mother and seemed agitated after encountering someone outside a store. Her mother, not wanting to pry, didn't press her for details. But it was clear something had shaken Brianna. Rumors and theories began to swirl. Some speculated that Brianna had been abducted, with calls suggesting she was being held against her will. Others believed she might have fallen victim to foul play due to her connections to people involved in illicit activities. There were even whispers that her disappearance could be linked to the case of Maura Murray, another young woman who had vanished just a month earlier and about 90 miles away. Despite extensive searches, interviews, and media coverage, no trace of Brianna has ever been found. Over the years, numerous theories have been proposed, ranging from abduction and human trafficking to the involvement of known criminals in the area. Yet, the mystery remains unsolved, leaving her family and friends to endure the agony of not knowing what happened to her. What do you think happened to Brianna? It was the summer of 2014 when 28-year-old Lars Mittank decided to escape the pressures of everyday life in Germany by heading to the sunny shores of Varna, Bulgaria, with a group of friends. The trip promised relaxation and escapism, but it spiraled into a mystery that would captivate and perplex the world. The vacation took an unexpected turn when Lars was involved in a seemingly minor altercation at a local bar. The scuffle resulted in a ruptured eardrum, and while his friends prepared to head back to Germany, Lars was advised by a local doctor to delay his flight and rest. His friends reluctantly left him behind, and Lars checked into a budget hotel near the airport, his temporary refuge. Initially, Lars communicated regularly with his mother back home, reassuring her of his safety and imminent return. However, his messages soon took on a frantic, paranoid tone. He texted that he felt he was being followed and that 4 mysterious men were watching him. He pleaded with his mother to cancel his credit cards, hinting at a threat he felt was imminent but couldn't fully articulate. The last images of Lars, captured on airport CCTV, show a starkly different man from the one who had arrived in Bulgaria. Visibly agitated, Lars clutches his belongings and paces through the terminal. He is seen making a phone call, then speaking briefly with a doctor at the airport medical center, presumably about his ear injury. Suddenly, as if struck by a bolt of terror, Lars is seen running at full speed through the airport, his gaze wild. He discards his luggage, sprints out of the terminal, vaults over a perimeter fence, and disappears into the surrounding forest. This chilling footage poses more questions than answers. What, or whom, did Lars flee from that day? His sudden disappearance sparked a series of theories. Some suggest a psychological break, possibly exacerbated by the antibiotics he was prescribed. Others speculate about a drug-related confusion or an encounter with a dangerous underworld that ensnared him unexpectedly. Despite extensive searches, no trace of Lars has ever been found. The dense forests around Varna Airport have been combed by search teams, drones, and sniffer dogs to no avail. Over the years, sporadic sightings across Europe have tantalized his family with hope, but none have brought them any closer to the truth. Lars Mittank's story is a haunting narrative of how a simple vacation can transform into a profound mystery. It serves as a grim reminder of the fragile veneer of normalcy and the abyss of terror that can lie just beneath. For those who hear this tale, Lars's fate is a cipher and a caution, echoing with the ultimate question that haunts all who wander too far from safety. Once you start running, can you ever truly come back? On the evening of June 2nd, 2011, Lauren Spierer was out with friends in Bloomington, Indiana. The night began at her apartment, where she and her friends watched a basketball game and drank wine. Later, they moved the gathering to another friend's townhouse just a few blocks away. Around midnight, Lauren decided to go to Kilroy's Sports Bar, a popular spot among students. Surveillance footage shows Lauren leaving her apartment at approximately 12:30 a.m., looking happy and carefree. At Kilroy's, she continued to drink, and it's speculated that drugs might have been involved as well. At around 2:30 a.m., Lauren left the bar without her shoes and phone, heading back towards her apartment. The night took a darker turn when Lauren was seen on security cameras with Corey Rossman, a fellow student, entering her apartment complex. An altercation occurred, and Rossman claimed to have been punched, causing him to lose memory of the night's events. From there, the pair made their way to Rossman's apartment, where his roommate Michael Beth observed Lauren's intoxicated state. According to Beth, Lauren left their apartment around 4:30 a.m., supposedly heading back to her own place. This was the last known sighting of Lauren Spierer. Despite extensive searches and investigations, no trace of Lauren has ever been found. The investigation into Lauren's disappearance has raised numerous theories and suspects. Her friends Corey Rossman, Michael Beth, and another acquaintance, Jason Rosenbaum, have been scrutinized, but none have been officially charged. Theories range from accidental overdose and subsequent cover-up to stranger abduction. Some speculate that Lauren, being intoxicated and barefoot, might have been easy prey for someone with malicious intent. The Spierer family has tirelessly sought answers, filing lawsuits and pushing for more information from those last seen with Lauren. Despite their efforts and cooperation with law enforcement, the mystery remains unsolved.